My name is Ciarán. I'm the founder of The Bodyful. I want to speak to you about Vipassana Meditation. So what is Vipassana? Vipassana is an ancient meditation technique that was kind of brought back into light by Gautama, the Buddha. So who we refer to as the Buddha, he was a prince that lived in India many moons ago. His name was Gautama, and he relinquished all his entitlements to becoming the next king, and he went off on a path of self-enlightenment, and this is the technique that he practiced to reach enlightenment. Vipassana translates to seeing reality as it is. And that is a phrase that you will repeatedly hear throughout the kind of Vipassana community. As it is, seeing as it is. And that is what's trying to be taught on the course. That's one of the main focuses on the course, is trying to see reality as it is. So in 2 weeks' time, exactly 2 weeks from today, I will be doing my fourth Vipassana course. So I'm still quite at the beginning, and I don't want to speak too much about the technique, as I might not do it justice. However, I can touch on it slightly, and my understanding and my interpretation of the technique. There's two kind of aspects within the course. When you go, the first 4.5 days is a technique called Anapana, and the premise of that technique is to improve your focus and concentration. So you will focus on the breath, the natural breath. That's very important, is the natural breath. There's no visualizations, there's no mantras, nothing but natural breath, and you observe that as best as you can. And as those days progress from day 1 to day 4, you notice that your concentration and your ability to stay focused on the natural breath is a hell of a lot better. So once you get to day 4, then the switch happens. So rather than being taught Anapana, now you will begin to learn the technique of Vipassana. And with the heightened awareness, concentration and focus, this really helps you observe natural reality as it is. So the technique of Vipassana is like a body scan. You observe yourself, your mind, your thoughts, and as you are observing yourself, you're getting these insights. Essentially, the insights are one of constant change. So you see that the mind and the body is constantly changing, and you are observing this. And a big part of Vipassana is to remain equanimous and not to attach to any sensation, whether that be a sensation of pleasure or a sensation of pain. And that is what you're trying to really do, is to stay in this place of equanimity, and whatever comes up, you see it as it is, and you do not react. You see it as it is, and then you see it go. So just as it comes, you observe, and then it goes. And that's the technique. Something comes, something goes. Something comes, something goes. And you're training yourself, you're training your mind to remain equanimous and to see reality as it is. Now, a lot of people, and myself included, would call it a Vipassana retreat. But really, it's not a retreat. It's not a retreat, that's for sure, certain. Like, it's not all lovey-dovey like a lot of retreats. It's actually quite difficult and requires a strong level of determination. It requires a good bit of self-discipline if you want to learn the technique. And it's kind of like gym for the mind. You know, you're going here to meditate for around 12-13 hours every day. And that's pretty difficult to do. A good way to think of it, though, is like you're training your mind. And just as you go to do a run, or you go to the gym to work out, or you do some mobility in the house, this is like you're meditating to observe your mind and see how it reacts and watch it for what it is. You know, like, we are not our thoughts. Thoughts just come and go. And this is an opportunity for you to teach yourself how to kind of get a better grip on understanding reality, the mind, the body as it is. One of the big benefits of why this technique is so useful is it helps with reaction. When you observe your body and your mind as it is, natural, you start to realize that we are always kind of craving something. We're always moving towards something, a pleasure. And then also we're always adverse to something. We'll call that pain. So the mind and the body always wants to go to pleasure or always wants to get away from pain. So you're constantly being swung in a direction, either away from pain or towards pleasure craving. So living life like this is just constantly reacting. You're just like, that's how we all are. We're kind of conditioned like that. We're constantly reacting. But as you observe it as it is, you start to realize that a lot of my reactions are just impulsive. When you kind of sit with it and you don't react, then you see it for what it is. It's just a craving. It's just a bit of pain. The expression comes to mind. Life is 10% what happens to us, 90% how we react. Who is the course for? The course is open to anyone. You can be from any religion, any background, any ethnic group. Literally anybody can learn this technique. It is not a religion. This is not a cult. You're not going in being taught Buddhism, nothing like that. It's literally a technique of meditation. There is tons of techniques of meditation, and Vipassana is just one technique. It's one of the oldest techniques, and as I said earlier, it was the technique that the Buddha taught. So it's like meditation in one of its purest forms. One technique is not better than another technique. It's just kind of subscribing to a technique. Personally, I have been meditating with all different techniques for around 13 years. Yeah, practicing mindfulness and meditating about 13 years on and off. But I would say since 2019, I started doing Vipassana. And personally for me, once I started Vipassana, that is the technique that I will continue to practice. Now, it's a 10-day course. No doubt about it that you need to have a lot of discipline. If your mental health isn't in a really good place at the moment, or you do suffer from mental health, you'd have to speak to the course coordinators to see if it's applicable and suitable for you at this moment in time. It's no holiday camp, and there is plenty of rules that have to be adhered to. These rules are to the benefit of yourself and the other students. One of the main rules is noble silence. So that means there's no talking to other students or servers. Also, you don't make any gestures, no eye contact, you don't make any body language signals or anything like that to anyone. You stick to yourself. Another rule is that in your clothing, you wear clothing that is as plain as possible and nothing that would provoke another student or someone that's serving. The course is open to anyone, so anybody can apply. New students, people that have never sat the course before, they have a certain allocation, and then old students have a certain allocation. Now, I'm not 100% sure on this reason, but one of the many benefits that I've noticed from having a good ratio of old students and new students is that when you're in the Dharma hall, that there is a lot of positive energy. So like meditating in a group, in a hall that is specifically designed for this course has a lot of benefit. And to be honest, like personally, I definitely wouldn't be able to meditate 12 hours on my own in my house. Absolutely. I'm not at that level yet, you know. And, you know, the power of the group, it is, you know, it really helps you get through, especially when it comes to group sits, where everyone in the whole center comes down to the hall and meditates. Another rule within the course is sex segregation. So males are in kind of one area of the course, of the center, and females, they are in another. So like, you know, in the canteen and in the hall, it's divided with males and females. This is for kind of less distraction. And it really helps when you are undergoing noble silence. Another rule when you're on the course is that there is no reading, there's no writing, there's no drawing. Doing lots of exercise like yoga or cardio is kind of prohibited. It's not encouraged to do too much of it. Absolutely, you're going to have to stretch. One of the most difficult aspects of the entire course is the physical pain from sitting down for 12 hours. It's damn hard. Like for me personally, that is one of the most challenging aspects of the whole thing. It's not even the mind. Once that gets focused, you're good. It's just the pain of sitting there, without moving for 2 hours. It is intense. If you did have any physical injuries or anything that would prohibit you from sitting down, you would just speak to the course manager and they could arrange a chair or a different setup for you. But again, from doing the courses, you should be sitting down, and you see the benefit of that when you do it. But it's just not easy. The timetable for each day is the same, except for the last day. That's slightly different. That's called METTA day. Get to that in a few. So the timetable is the structure of the day. Morning gong, 4 a.m. Then you should be in the Dharma hall for 4:30. You meditate for 2 hours to 6:30. Breakfast 6:30 to 8 a.m. And also after breakfast, that's where you could do some walking, your laundry, just kind of all your shower, everything like that. Then from 8 to 9, that's a group sit. Then 9 to 11, you can meditate in the hall or in your room, depending on the teacher's instructions. 11 is lunch break, so 11 until 1 p.m. is lunch, and that's where you can also take a shower, do your personal hygiene, laundry. You can ask the teacher questions during this time. You just write your name down and you go up to the Dharma hall and he will answer your questions. Then from 1 until 2:30, you'll meditate in your room or in the hall. 2:30 is the second group sit of the day. 2:30 until 3:30, and then from 3:30 until 5, it's another it's another sit in the hall or in your room. And then at 5, it's a tea break. New students get 2 pieces of fruit, old students get lemon and hot water. And then from 6 until 7 is the third group sit of the day. And then from 7 till around 8:15 would be the day course discourse. So that's where S.N. Gwenke, you would watch a video of S.N. Gwenke teaching you about the course and going through the day, revising the day, and giving some insights and motivation and kind of encouragement for the next day. And then from 8:15 until 9, it's the last sit in the hall. 9 until kind of 9:30 is returning to your room, and then 9:30 lights out. So METTA day is the last day of the course, day 10. This is the day where you learn another technique called loving kindness, and it's also a big day because that's when you can break silence. I'm not going to speak too much about that day. It's just that's the day you break silence and you learn a new technique. You have to do the course to really kind of understand METTA day. It's just kind of the cherry on top, and it's kind of finishing the course in a very loving and kind way. The cost of the course is depending, because it is a charitable organization and you just donate what you can afford. There is centres all over the world. In Ireland, where I do it, we don't have a centre at the moment. It's currently being held in Ennis, County Clare, and we just kind of use a school down there for the duration of the course. In terms of the meals, so you get breakfast at 6:30 and you get lunch at 11. So they are the two main meals of the day. Breakfast is typically porridge with some fruit, cooked fruit, stewed fruit, and then you would have like, you know, just kind of a spread of some like muesli, cereals, bread, toast, different jams, fruit, that kind of stuff. And then lunch is going to be a vegetarian dish. So there is no meat throughout the 10 days on the course. You have to adhere to a vegetarian diet. It's a quite healthy way of eating. So for me, I'm a meat eater, and I find this a great opportunity to kind of cut meat out of my diet for the 10 days. I think the food is delicious. Personal opinion, it's always nice, always satisfactory. And for being an old student, I don't get 2 pieces of fruit in the evening. New students, as I said before, they'd get two pieces of fruit. Could be just like, you know, apples, oranges, bananas, that kind of stuff. It's ran by a charity, and everyone who organises the course and everyone who serves the course, they are all volunteers. So there's students, that's when you go down and learn. But in order to have an environment that is conducive to learning, you need to have people to make sure everything is working right. And people go down to serve. I have served once. I served in 2021, 2022, last Christmas to New Year's. So this time now, in 2 weeks, I'm going down to sit this time. This time last year, I served as kitchen manager. And that was the first time serving, and I was kitchen manager. So it was a challenge, but to be honest, it was absolutely perfect. I wanted to sit. I got an email saying it was full, but there's an opportunity to serve. I thought about it, and I just said, I'm going to serve. And it was absolutely perfect. It was exactly what I should have done. And I think I got more out of serving than actually sitting. So both sides of the coin are very rewarding. When you're serving, you are making sure that everything is in place for the students. So like first and foremost is the kitchen. So you have to cook and clean for all the meals. So to make sure that everything is ready for the students. You need to prepare all the foods and make sure that everything is safely stored away. You need to clean up the canteens and the other areas to make sure the place and the centre is kept nice and hygienic. And then what you would also do is you just kind of make sure that the operations and the running of the course is all good. So like if you need to get supplies, if a student needs anything, the servers would be kind of looking after that. There's servers, and then there's a male manager and a female manager. The students would go to the managers, and then the managers of the course would come to the other servers. Normally I was the kitchen manager, so a lot of the stuff would come to me, and then I would delegate that or do it myself to one of the other servers. It is definitely a kind of a high demand. Yeah, it's a high demand 10 days when you're serving, because they're long days. You would be up at the same time pretty much as the students, so roughly 4 a.m, and then your day would end around 9:30. So like it is busy. Also, you do have to meditate a minimum I think of 4 hours, 3 hours minimum a day, but you are encouraged to meditate for more if possible, and also to sit and partake in the discourses. There's also a meditation at the end of every day for servers that you would meditate in the hall with the servers, the managers and the teacher when the students go to retire to their room. Personally, why do I do the courses? I find them incredibly beneficial. It is very challenging. The first course that I done was probably one of the hardest things I've ever completed in my life. I would just say I didn't really know what to get myself into. I had an idea about it. It was recommended to me by a friend, and I read into it and I done it. But by God, it was a lot more challenging than I expected. It was really hard, really hard. I remember on the 10th day, that I was like, I could have cried, I think I probably was crying, to be honest. A guy came over to me. I remember a guy coming over to me and asking my name and how are you and how was the course, and I had to just say, like, listen, I need to just go for a walk. This is all overwhelming. It is an achievement, and when you do it, you really feel the benefits of it. One of the things that I would say is that you're not talking, you're not writing, you're not listening or watching television, anything like that. There's no YouTube, but it doesn't get quiet. It gets quiet for a few days, but after a few days you start to pick up on things that you don't notice when you're living normal life. And that's one thing that I'd say, like, every sense is heightened, like everything is richer, sound, sight. You will never look at a tree or a bird the way you do on a Vipassana course, I'm telling you. And then food, like, oh my god, even though it's just porridge or it's just a slice of bread, it's next level when you're 8 days deep and this is the only food you've had since the day before. It really is beneficial in that way. Another big benefit for me is that the world that we live in today is fast paced, and connectivity and staying connected is, never been better or bigger or faster before. So life is only going to continue to go in this way. And for me, this is like a perfect stopgap. You're going down to the countryside, you're away from the city, no technology, no talking, no nothing, just yourself, noble silence, 10 days. That in and of itself has tremendous benefits. Just disconnecting, changing your eating habits. For me, old students, you eat twice a day, 6:30 and 11, and then that's it. So you're fasting. And that, again, that's a tremendous benefit for me personally. Some people, I understand, fasting doesn't sit well with them, so that's something that you'd have to consider. For me, I actually really enjoy it. I do lose a lot of weight. The first time I done the course, I think I lost about 7 kilos, but it's about 100. I think it was like 100 kilos at that time. I think the last time I done the course, I lost around 4.5. I just weigh myself out of curiosity. It's not the big thing that I'm bothered that I lose the weight. I'm just thinking, how much weight will I lose from doing absolutely nothing, just sitting down all day, going for short walks and just eating 2 meals a day? What happens to the body? That is one of the big challenges for me, is adjusting to low levels of food. And also there's no meat in the diet, so like the satiation that I get from consuming meat and just like the feeling of eating meat is taking away. So the main benefit personally is having a better grip on my mind. And it's not a grip in the sense that I can control it, it's a grip in the sense that I can see it for what it is, and I have a better understanding and awareness of how it is kind of programmed, or the habit pattern of my mind. So I can have a great idea of seeing how it reacts to things, what it wants, and how it can influence my decision making. And I think for most people that is a extremely valuable observation, and it's a really good awareness to have. Another big aspect of the mental benefits for me is the ability to focus and concentrate. I can promise you now, if you seriously undertake the 10 days and you focus on doing the work when you're down there, you will come back with levels of focus that you have never had before in your life. I promise you that if you can if you can successfully complete the course, I promise you, if you can successfully complete the 10 days, put the work in, you will come back with focus and concentration that you never imagined possible. And that is why I continue to do these courses. It's like a top up. We come back to normal life, and if you don't maintain your practice, old habits creep back in. Simple as. We go back to the way life is. It's a good analogy for the meditation is that, like, when you're down in the course and you're in the hall and you're meditating in the hall, it's a lot easier to meditate when you have the power of the group. And the analogy I use is like running on a treadmill. If you ever ran on a treadmill for 1k or 5k, and then you run out on the street and you run for 1k or 5k, there is a big difference in that running. The body is doing the same exercise. You're running, it's just the environment has changed. Treadmill, outside. And I can tell you one thing, running outside is a lot harder than running on a treadmill. Same as meditating in your normal life is a lot harder than meditating in a course. So I continue to do these courses to make sure, one, my understanding of the technique gets better. Two, it helps me maintain practice when I'm home and living normal life. That's all I can think of at the moment covering Vipassana. If I've forgotten something or if you have any questions, pop it down. I'm happy to answer it, guys. As I said, I'm still at the beginning of the path, so a lot of the questions that might be in regards to the technique itself, I'm not a teacher, I don't pretend to be a teacher, so I wouldn't be too confident in actually delving into the technique. I'm happy to explain my experiences and the benefits that I get. If you want more information, the website and all links will be in the description in relation to Vipassana, the organisation, and how you might find the course. Subscribe, like, and follow me, guys, at The Bodyful on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And if you want to do some meditation in the new year, 2023, hit me up, guys, because I'm definitely interested in kind of collaborating, partnering with someone to do some meditations. Happy to go, live or just do something virtual. Have a great day, guys. Bye.